Hi everyone. In this video, we will discuss developing a study plan so you're successful in this course. Now, something that helped me when I was in college, and even to this day, when I'm learning something new, something complicated, studying in a group has just always been really beneficial for me. Throughout this course, we'll discuss different types of techniques that help with your metacognition. And so you'll hear me say this word quite often. So metacognition is being aware of your learning style. And there are different techniques once you're aware of your learning style that will work best for you. And it's unique to everyone because our brains are all wired differently. And so not only is it my hope for you to learn chemistry and master it in my class, but I also hope to help you develop some transferable skills for taking on tough topics like chemistry, feeling confident in your problem solving, and developing the best, most effective way for you to learn and most efficient way as well. It's not about the number of hours you study for a class or when you're taking on a project, it's about how effective you are, how efficient you are. So for example, you will hear me discuss reciprocal teaching. And that is one metacognitive strategy that has worked efficiently and effectively for me. That is when I teach others. I know that is obvious considering I am a chemistry faculty member, but I realized that this specific metacognitive strategy worked for me when I was in college and I was a tutor. And I realized when I was teaching others, this, tough topic such as chemistry, I began to understand it more deeply. And then what I did was I formed study groups in the classes I was currently taking and was utilizing the skills I learned from tutoring. And that helped me excel in all my courses. So being able to teach others, explain it in my own words, really gave me the confidence and understanding of the material at a deeper level. And so reciprocal teaching may work for some of you, it may not. So we will definitely discuss other strategies to help you find the best metacognitive strategy that works for you. So it's really crucial, like our learning goal for this video is just to spend some time to consider how we're going to develop a study plan for learning chemistry, because it's so different than probably many of the subjects you've taken before. And if we have a plan, I'm hoping that helps to ease any kind of worry or anxiety about taking this class. And it's really important that you utilize the textbook or any chemistry textbook that covers the same material for you to read the chapter. And usually at the beginning of any chemistry textbook, there's always an overview and kind of breaks down some of the learning goals for each section. So even just getting acquainted with the learning goals for the chapter can give you a big overview of what you should be able to master by the end of the chapter. And so don't skip over the section titles. Read through them and maybe rephrase it as a question. And once again, as you can see with my videos, as well with any chemistry textbook, there's always learning goals. And so you can always ask yourself, like, do I understand this learning goal? Can I explain it in my own words, or can I work problems that apply this learning goal? So as you're reading the chapter, try to answer the question you made from the section title. Work through any sample problems that may be embedded within the chapter that kind of test you on your skill building. And also review, like maybe there's with this textbook in particular, there's a visual guide to problem solving. Many chemistry textbooks that cover general chemistry have this feature. In this particular textbook, they have an analyze the problem feature that shows you how to organize the data in some word problems. I'm going to do that within my lectures as well. And then at the end of every chapter, there's always questions and problems to apply problem solving to new concepts. And so throughout all of my videos, I'm going to show you example problems. So if you're reading the book, you're using these techniques, active learning, active reading as you're doing it, in addition to watching my lectures, as well as engaging in the problem sets, really critically thinking through those, you will be set up for success in my course. Now, what's really neat through a lot of textbooks is that there are tools that help you connect your chemical concepts to what you're learning in real life. And so in these general organic and biological chemistry textbooks, there's always a link to health, to the environment, and also to clinical application problems. In any chemistry textbook, there's always these real life applications. Like, why do we care? You know, why are we learning this topic? How does this apply to real life? Now, figures and diagrams have wealth of information in them. And so it's important that you can kind of pull out some key information from each of the figures and diagrams. It's a visual representation of illustrating an important concept for you to master. So many of the figures and diagrams use like a micro to macro illustration, which means that they'll depict the atomic level of organization, illustrate the concepts in the text, and allow you to see the world in a microscopic way. This is specific to this textbook, but this also can apply to any chemistry textbook for general chemistry, organic and biological chemistry. Now, a lot of chemistry textbooks also have an end of chapter. So even though you may be done reading the context, it's important to not skip over the summary that is provided. These are great resources, great tools that organize information succinctly. And so a lot of times you'll see books have chapter reviews or provide a summary. Concept maps are critical, especially in this type of textbook that we're using. I know that biology uses a lot of concept maps. It's just a great way to connect between important concepts. This is such a great metacognitive strategy I wish I had known about when I was in school. So I'll definitely always include concept maps in my lectures, but make sure you're reading through them as well and creating your own, which is really cool. If you can create it and organize the information in a unique way that makes sense to you, that's going to make that learning more effective. Always be looking through the key terms, making sure you can explain those terms in your own words. Now, chemistry is like learning a new language. And so it's important that you're practicing that language and learning the vocabulary every single day. It's just like learning, you know, for example, when I took Spanish class in high school, I had to practice every single day in order to become more fluent. There's also a section on understanding the concepts, which helps you visualize the concepts. And once again, practicing those additional questions and problems and challenge problems will also help you assess what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And I will be assigning problems for you to practice through. Make sure when you're working through problems, you're not trying to find the solution online or in the back of the book if you have access to the book, but rather struggle through it, work through the problem, utilize only the notes in the textbook to help solve the problem. And then if you want to check your work, you can always check it with me. I'm happy to check your work with you. Before you try to find answers online, because you want to make sure that sometimes when information's portrayed online, they could be using a lot of shortcuts that when you're first learning the material may not make sense, right? So that's why it's really important. I'm not going to take shortcuts. I'm going to show you every step of the way so no one gets lost in solving problems. So I want you to be mimicking that and modeling that in your own problem sets and when you're practicing. And a great strategy for doing problems is to work through them. Like I said, always have my notes nearby. Do it after you've watched the videos, etc. take advantage of all the resources I'm providing, and then use a different color pen to grade it later. So what's really critical for metacognition and being successful in any course is that you're actively learning and not passively learning. Now, examples of passive learning could be just sitting and watching my lectures, but not taking notes, or having the TV on in the background, or just getting distracted, right? That's passive learning. Like you're hearing the information, but you're not really engaging with them. So it's really important that you're disciplined in becoming an active learner. And once again, this will actually make your studying way more efficient and effective. If you are devoting a little time every day to this course, and when you're devoting your time, you're just actively learning, like you're concentrating, trying to find a space where you most effectively study and can learn, like that's crucial. Because otherwise, if you're passively learning, then maybe right before the midterm, you are cramming all this information in, and it just feels like hours upon hours of trying to relearn the material. So let's be efficient, let's be effective, let's be disciplined about studying a little bit every day. And in this table, showing you just some steps in active learning that I've just gone over is just first, always before even watching the video, read through the learning goals, form a question from the section title, read through that section. So I'm creating videos bite-sized that go along with different sections of the book. So you can find that and say, okay, I'm going to read this section, then I'm going to watch Dr. Ferris's lecture video on that topic. And then, looking for answers to your questions. So trying to figure out, okay, what question, what's the learning goal that I'm trying to achieve? Self-test by working some sample problems and study checks. Complete the questions and problems that follow that section. In this particular book, the answers to the magenta odd problems are actually in the back of at the end of the chapter. And proceed to the next section and repeat these steps. And if once again you do this a little bit every day, you are going to be golden. So that's like just being very disciplined. Don't save an entire chapter for one day. Try to do a section a day. Like that is going to set yourself up for success. Okay, let's make a study plan. So something that, like I said, I know that students tend to not want to read the book, but the book is going to be a great resource to really give you a holistic picture of what we're trying to master, right? In addition to my lectures. Going to lectures or watching my lectures, being an active learner. So when you're watching my lectures online, write questions down, like on your slides, write them down, and then you can, take a picture, send your question to me. You can say, at this point in the lecture, I was really confused when you said this. And I can go back to that point in the lecture and clarify for you. And I will probably send another video recording explaining myself, just as if we were in the classroom. I know there's a bit of a delay considering that this is online, but we can still engage with one another as actively as possible. Once again, reviewing learning goals, really trying to formulate a question from a learning goal and asking yourself, do you understand that learning goal? Can you explain it in your own words? Could you provide examples to illustrate your learning there? Always having a notebook where you do all your problems. You'll be submitting problems as well on Canvas. Read the text as an active learner. And I will show you ways to do that, to read the text effectively. And then working questions and problems at the end of the chapter, and then checking your answers after the fact. So work through them, struggle with it first. Don't try to reverse engineer and like, oh, I know what the answer is. So reverse engineering the way to arrive to that problem. Do it first, kind of struggle with it, coming back to my slides, to my lectures in order to mimic what I did and apply that knowledge to your problem solving. As I said before, something that helped me survive was having a study group and really engaging in reciprocal teaching in that way when I was taking some of my upper division courses. seeing me, the professor, during office hours. I want to see you. I want to engage with you. I want to help you along the way feel successful. Reviewing over key math skills and core chemistry skills. When I teach, I will always kind of, like I said, show you every step of the way. But if there is like a math skill that you feel like you're struggling with, like rearranging equations, for example, then come see me and we will work problems together on Zoom over and over until you feel confident in that math skill. I will host review sessions. So, make sure you're able to attend those. And if not, I will record them and you can watch them at a later date. But if you can attend them synchronously, that's better. And then organizing your own review sessions with your study group. And if you want to invite me, if I'm available, I'd love to join you guys for maybe 30 minutes, answer any questions in your little review session. And as I've alluded to, study often. Studying a little bit every day, even if it's just 30 minutes a day, is going to be more effective, help your brain store this information from short-term memory to long-term memory in your hippocampus, right? And so it's crucial that you're actively doing that every day. I like to think of it as training for a half marathon or a marathon. Right now I'm training for a half marathon. So every single day I'm doing something to help me reach my goal, whether it is a short tempo run or it's conditional training, strength training, or it's my long run on the weekend. Every single day I'm working towards that goal. You can think of taking this course the same way. If you do little bits every day, it's going to make the end goal you much stronger, more confident, and just less anxious in the end, because you're like, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this midterm. I'm ready for this final exam because I've been working towards this every single day. So study check here. As you know, with study checks, please always pause the video, reflect, do the problem. In this case, this is more of a reflection, and then come back and hear, what the answer is, and some feedback from me. All right, welcome back. Which of the following activities should be included in your study plan for learning chemistry? A, skipping lectures. Ooh, I certainly hope not, because if you're not watching my lecture videos, then you're not going to be able to know exactly what content we are covering. And like I said, I really try to spend time in my videos to walk through problems. When we start doing more math problems, I am going to walk you through every step of the way. So make sure you're watching lectures, watching the lectures, not skipping them, not trying to find other YouTube videos to watch, because there's some great content out there. But once again, other content may not line up with what's expected of you in this course. Forming a study group. Yes, you know that. So if you need help finding a study partner, let me know, and I am more than happy to connect you with someone in the class. Keeping a problem notebook. So a problem notebook is like where you're doing all your problems. Maybe it's also where you keep your lectures as well and your reading notes. Reading the text as an active learner for sure. So don't forget, read the book, and be active when you're reading. If that's highlighting, annotating, all those different strategies to have you actively engage with the material is going to be better. And if you have other plans for your study plan, let me know. Like, I'm more than happy to learn from you all what works best for you. And if you need more advice, then of course, always schedule a meeting with me. I'm happy to discuss study plans and strategies with you. Thank you for watching. And as always, email me with any questions.